welcome everybody. It's time once again to talk some sports with you and us here on the Sconny Scoreboard weekly podcast, your home for Wisconsin sports. My name is Jason Streubel, here with the star of the show, Ben Hallett. Bonjour, monsieur.
Go.
How are you today?
Bonjour, Jason. Je m'appelle.
Uh,
I think I just asked you what your name is. No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
Well, we tried. I'm doing good, Jason. How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's spring, and the NFL draft is coming up. You can kind of feel it in the air around here.
Well, here, yeah. I mean, I live probably like 45 miles away from Lambeau, and already the digital signs that go on the highways already say like NFL draft parking pass or preferred parking. Like it's saying that it's far away, So I'm like, it's here.
Mm-hmm.
It is in our neck of the woods, and it starts tomorrow. So
Yes, sir.
it's crazy.
It's gonna be nuts. It was nice out for a little while today, so we're getting that spring weather.
Yeah.
Some like actual spring starting to show up a month in.
It's 70 today, so yeah. Like
Yes,
that.
sir.
Just gotta keep that rain away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is
Mm-hmm.
mid to late April, the 23rd, for those of you listening.
Yeah.
And we've got sports. We've got the NBA playoffs still going on. We've got Major League Baseball still ripping. Obviously, they will be for the next 10 years.
3 years.
Till their end of their season.
Longer.
Yeah. And then we'll talk some NFL draft after we get that stuff out of the way. So, with the Bucks, let's just rip the Band-Aid off with that one. Down 0-2 to the Pacers, which, okay, you're holding serve, right? The Pacers get those first two home games. This is supposed to be fine, right? Like, this is supposed to be okay to be down 0-2, but
Supposed to be fine.
it doesn't look fine. It doesn't sound fine. They didn't even put up 100 in that first game. Yeah, it does not feel fine. What did you notice? What were your takeaways with like the kind of pessimistic vibe coming off these first two games?
Yeah, so this is literally what I felt like since we talked about it before anything ever started, really, because they had a week off and they had to play in games, etc. So I kind of said in the last podcast, like, a week off's a long time. Like, who's gonna come out and be on fire and show that they want this game won? Because the golden rule is if you can take 1 or 2, when you're away, that's a successful trip. So come back, have home field advantage, you got the one up. So finding out earlier in the week right before this game that Dame was coming back at some point, which was huge news. Not the fact that he's like healthy, the fact he can come play again was insane. So the fact that was happening, honestly, at first I thought, I hope Dame comes back a little bit down the road, because right now 8 straight wins, we're rolling. Like, let's keep this going for right now and make sure he's like up to speed and healthy and everything, which makes sense. And then they come out that first game, Giannis had 36, and then the rest of the starters had 14 combined. I mean,
yeah,
you're not gonna win anything.
Mm-mm.
Right there. So right after that game, I took everything back. I need Dame right now.
Yeah.
We need to make up for those points.
Mm-hmm.
We need them, insert them. Let's do this. But just to go back to the other game real quick. Yeah, it's just that the pace of the Pacers was so fast, like they have been in last couple of years, and we just could not keep up with that to begin with, and just everything and anything they could shoot, I felt like was falling in that first half, and it was basically the opposite of Milwaukee, because our 3-pointing shooting was abysmal. I think we had like 2 total in the first half, and I don't know what we had at the end. We'll get to those stats a little bit later, but it's just the fast pace. Like they wanted it. We didn't look comfortable. We looked old. We looked like Brook Lopez is out there, like people running by him. Obviously, you got Giannis going nuts out there, but again, not being able to hit any free throws consistently. Hurt as well, especially when he's the whole offense. You need as many points out of him as you can.
You're right.
And that just kind of blew the doors off of the whole game. And then they just could not, rebound. I thought at one point they were getting close to making maybe a little comeback there and making it interesting, but it just really never ever, fully progressed that way. And then it was just the end. And then by the end, it was just. They're pulling starters. And I'm like, right. Jesus Christ, already? Like, it's a playoff game, but it is what it is. So, yeah, when Torian Prince and Kyle Kuzma put up zeros in that game, and you're starting, I mean,
you literally took the words out of my mouth.
Shots.
Yeah,
you got to take shots. Is number one, and you go for one. What are you doing out there, Torian? Take some shots. You had like the highest 3-point percentage, or close to, I think the top 3 maybe by the end of the whole NBA. Like, take those shots.
Yeah, he's taken 5 shots in these 2 games. 5 shots. Yeah, like for a starter. Going on?
I mean, I know you love it when he was the chucker. Earlier, now he's not doing it all. I'm like, you need a cup. You got to meet in the middle of what Jason wants and what I want.
Yeah.
You got to throw more up there because we need all the help we can get. And then again, we talked about last week Kuzma. Like I told he was the dark horse, and he goes 0 for 5. Negative 24 plus minus differential.
Mm-hmm.
Like the worst in the whole game. Like, you cannot have that. You can't go 0 for 5.
Well, it was
rebounds, no assists, nothing.
And it's not even just those guys. Like, those are the 2 glaring examples. But
yeah, there's more and more.
Ryan Rollins 2 for 8. Bobby Portis 2 for 8. Gary Trent Jr. 6 for 11. Okay, like he had an alright game, but still only 14 points in 27 minutes. It's not like he was blowing the doors off anything. 2 for 7 from 3 is not, we're not writing home about that. Kevin Porter Jr. 2 for 7, 0 for 2 from 3. 8 of 8 of his free throws.
But again, he was getting them somewhere. So
yeah, so 12 points, 29 minutes. You need more scoring. You need more good. Scoring than that. Mm-hmm. AJ Green 5 for 13. At least he's shooting the ball.
He went almost 500 and hit 5 threes. He was the only one that was like, kind of bringing us back closer and closer, chipping away at that lead. But yeah, and it's just a lot of negative pointer. Everyone on the team besides Portis and Sims and Andre Jackson Jr. had negative point differential. Like it was all bad. It's all bad.
And you brought up the point I was going to make earlier. The Bucks just looked old. They just looked like the team that they're the team that everybody was afraid that they were going to look like eventually. We all knew they were going to get old at some point. We all knew this was going to happen, that Brook Lopez was going to become even slower, that, basically that these veteran role players weren't going to be able to keep up with Giannis over the course of his career forever. We knew this was going to happen, and it was like, what a time for this to happen. You beat the 8 tomato cans you had coming into this thing. You did what you were supposed to do to get the momentum and to get the juice you need to win some playoff games. And then you come out, you take a week off and you come out and you look like this is spring training. Like, wow. Like, did you guys stretch first? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is not an exhibition. This is the first game. Like, this is these people aren't here just to cheer for the shit of it. Like, they're here to be like, it's time to go, and they were just not in playoff mode.
No, and
they were still hanging on those 8 straight wins, and they're like, It is what it is. We beat the Pacers 3 out of 4 times in the regular season. Should have beat them 4 out of 4. We talked about that last time too.
Yeah.
So, and then are they going to beat us 4 when it actually matters? It's looking like it, and it's terrible.
Yeah,
Which, brings us to that second game. We got closer.
Yeah,
Bobby
still.
Portis went off. We had at least, Giannis had some help in that category. And Dame was just flat, unfortunately, because he hasn't been there since March 18th. So you knew you were going to get a ton out of him. So it was, for that game was the turnover battle. We doubled him in turnovers.
Well, and sorry, go ahead.
Losing. Oh, I was just saying, and then those 8 turnovers can easily make you lose by 8 points, which is exactly what happened. It's just again, it was Giannis, and Bobby, and that's it. No one else really showed up in that scoring category. I mean, you had Kuzma and Lillard in double figures, but nothing where they should be at. Again, give Lillard the pass, but yeah, it's just you got to have at least 3 scores scoring 20. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we had that with the big 3 before when we won a championship, and we need that to happen again, especially game 3.
Well, with game 2, if you look, Pacers just shot the lights out. Really, they were all shooting. Not shoot the lights out, but comparatively, they all shot pretty well. I mean, Halliburton didn't have his best game, but he's not really so overrated.
The most overrated
as a
player in the
shooter.
NBA.
Yeah, like as a shooter particularly.
Well, unvoted. He was voted by the NBA fans as the most overrated player in the NBA. It was just announced, so.
Wow. All right.
It's a real thing. That was right before the game, so that gave him some fuel. But again, went 8 for 19. So
yeah, right.
Sure, I mean,
3 for 10 from 3.
21 points on 8 for 19.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah,
he's not a Wisconsin boy anymore. He's an Indiana guy now.
I guess
he
so.
burned that bridge.
He just that team. Their team just shot better. Miles Turner 6 for 10. Andrew Nemhard 6 for 10. Yeah, Pascal Siakam 8 for 16. You'd like to see that down a little bit. I think he took a little, 2 for 5 from 3. If you're a Pacers fan, you don't want to see him shooting those. Like if you're a Bucks fan, yeah, shoot all the threes you want, bro. Do it. Keep you from scoring inside. But yeah,
for sure.
Taurean Prince only 4 shots in 20 minutes. Brook Lopez 6 shots. He only played 16 minutes, but like.
Well, Brook is always a crapshoot. You're never really gonna get a lot of shots. He's in there for defense usually, and I'm fine with that. But like I said, Prince should just be. He should be taking minimum 8 threes a game, minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck 3 of those up there. You know, like. And again, you're shooting 2 out of 3. You got 2 out of 3. You're shooting 66%. Start shooting more, right? Like even Brook, he was 2 for 4.
Look,
you're always wide open out there. Start firing them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you hit 2 for 4 from 3, you should keep shooting for sure. Gary Trent Jr. 30 minutes, 4 shots.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing out there? You hit one of your 3 threes. Shoot. That's still good. 1 of 3. You keep
That's not
shooting.
Duke basketball.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Gary?
Yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. played 15 minutes and he still managed 9 shots. So
had 9 points. So
yeah, in 15 minutes, okay, sure, do it up, man. I mean,
yeah, honestly, if we're not gonna have if Prince and Kuzma and those guys aren't gonna shoot, then start putting guys throw Kevin Porter Jr. in there. Again, I'm gonna preach. If we gotta have to change it up, we gotta go younger, right? So get some young guys in there if we have to start off. What's it gonna hurt,
Well, and here, Jericho Sims 8 minutes, 0 shots. Okay, I get it. He's not in there to score, but
he just came back from an injury too. So again, he's kind of ramping up. So
I don't even know. I don't even know why he's in there. Like, why are you playing him? To what? Shove stuff up the middle for 8 minutes? This is the playoffs, bro. This isn't game 60 of an 82 game season. This is not the time to be.
Didn't play out I would put Jericho Sims over everybody who was DMP'd. Honestly, I'd rather have another big man in there than Livingston, Connington, Jackson Jr. or Rollins.
Well, I was gonna say like Connaughton played 1 minute the first game, made his one shot, and didn't play at all the second game. He's like your veteran go getter. Like he should be getting minutes. Like he should be on the
he
floor.
just hasn't had a lot of minutes the whole year, and when he just was not affected for most of the year. Unfortunately, that brought his stock down a lot over this last year. But that final game of the year where he started, he scored 43 points.
Dude,
So
he's
the guy
still
can
got
score.
it. He's one of those dudes like he's like 60. I get it, and he was never an like the all-star, whatever. He's a guy, he's a hustle guy, he's a smart player,
Scrappy.
And he's scrappy, and you need guys like that on the floor, A, in the playoffs, B, when you're down 0-2 to a team that you have shown that you can beat, and C, against a team like the Pacers that is just like a very well-rounded defensive squad. You need a guy like Connaughton out there messing shit up. You need him, kicking rocks and stuff like that. And for him to not play at all, 1 minute in 2 games, they're messing this up. I get like Jericho Sims on defense. I get, AJ Green is super talented and young. I understand why the guys that are playing, but they're also really young and have never been here before. And this is a team that was, 3 years out from a championship and has a lot of the same guys that won that were on that squad. Use that to your advantage. Like, you're playing all these young guys because they're better, but you kept these veterans from that squad for a reason, and now you're not going to employ that veteran savvy. You're going to go with the talent when you need that experience the most.
Yeah, I get it, but honestly, there's only 4 from that team that's still on our team, and Pat's the only one that's not a starter. So, but I understand what you're saying too. AJ Green is the young guy. You want to start him and make him shoot, but if that's not working, which it hasn't been working, then switch it up.
And I'm not saying Connaughton has to get 30 minutes, but
no.
10, 12, 10, 12 even. When he's put him out there when the starters are taking a seat for a couple of minutes so that you have a guy out there who knows what to do, It's another guy who knows what to do. He can still score. He proved it. So what are you doing, Doc? Come on, play your guys.
What's up, Doc? He might be the downfall of this too. So
yeah, he might. Who would have thought Doc Rivers was the problem?
Yeah, I just game 3 they got to turn around. They got to win that game, and they have to. It's just this is. Giannis is a different player overall. He's not a guy who just will walk out. He's loyal to the Bucks, but when you put everything into it like he did this year, and got a bid for MVP, which is I heard that was insane that he's one of the top 3 finalists for MVP this year. Because I thought it was just going to be a two horse race, but yeah, that's how good he was this year. And that game 1 dropping 36 and only scoring 98 as a team total and 14 points as the rest of the starters collectively, to me was like, this is the year where it might be a time that he's going to be like, I might go somewhere else because this is not working, even though in a way this is his baby he created.
Yeah.
These things didn't happen without his consent. So we'll see what happens, but they really need to win this game and win this first series because it's been too long. I don't like how these other commentators say it's been 3 years and they haven't won. They've lost all 3 years. All the years, 3 years in the first round. You're like, yeah, great, but how many games Giannis play in those first 3 years?
They leave out
Did
the
you guys look at?
context, right?
Did you look at? Did you look at that? That's the biggest thing. And for most of those games, they didn't play at all. So
Mm-hmm.
don't tell me that they've lost 3 straight. Like you're gonna say that if it was LeBron? Mm-mm. You wouldn't say that. You'd have an asterisk saying the Lakers have lost because LeBron hasn't been in there. You know what I mean? Like so. It's again, I think, a tale of two different teams and areas of the nation. But yeah, it's scaring me now that we got to do something, or else it might be a time that he might want to go to Miami or New York or all these other places we hear about all the time. So yeah, just my 2 cents on that because it's getting more and more real.
And you're right that he's not the kind of guy who's just gonna like cause a scene on his way out, but he'll leave. He'll definitely leave. And honestly,
He's been so loyal.
but it's in his
It's unbelievable. It's in his blood.
but it's in his best interest to probably go somewhere else after this contract. Like, if we're being honest, and loyalty aside, and if we're looking at what should Giannis do for Giannis, yeah, he should probably go play like a contract's worth of years in like a major market somewhere. Maybe come back to the Bucks after like 5 years with the Knicks or something. Make him that like money, and then get the brand going. But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's not interested in that. That could be too.
For sure. And I want to say he still has like a couple years left in Milwaukee on that contract, so it's not like he's going anywhere. I mean, he's out till 2028, so I don't think he's staying around for another 3 more years if this goes down south.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's gonna maybe ask for a trade, and we're never gonna get back what we get rid of. So
No, absolutely not.
Again, he's been the most loyal basketball player
Yeah.
I've ever seen in the NBA. Mm-hmm. A lot of them were left 2 contracts ago.
Sure.
So,
and he
that.
did reap the reward. He got himself a championship. That's something.
Yeah,
Granted,
yes, for sure.
people are going to say, "Oh, well, he could have had 4 or whatever." Yeah, maybe. He could have probably
Don't know anything.
could have got to more conference finals. Maybe. You could say that. You could argue that, but
I mean, LeBron's been to what, like 10, and he's won 3 or 4 total or whatever. Like,
not 6, not 7.
you're not guaranteed
not
anything.
8.
So yeah. But that's the Bucks. We got Pacers on Friday, 7 p.m. Central. So
yep, gotta get a W
I'll
there.
be watching that.
Must win. As must win as they get without being actually must win. So watch that. It's Friday. And hopefully, it'd be Friday and then Saturday, right? For the games, or are they doing every other? I think it's Friday,
it's
Sunday.
like every 3 days it's like a game. They're spreading it out. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what the next one would be, honestly, but it's probably going to be a little farther down the road. I think it'll probably be either Sunday or probably Sunday, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I mean, I can look.
Makes sense. Either way, 2 more games in that series. Bucks really need to win them both to hold serve.
Yes.
And keep everything even, quote unquote.
Sunday night is game 4.
Perfect. So watch out for that. Couple home games for the Bucks. Go if you got tickets, because everybody's going to be in Green Bay for the draft, which we'll get to.
Wisconsin is going to be nuts.
Yeah. 2 playoff games in Milwaukee and the draft.
Yep.
So it's a good thing that the Brewers are in San Francisco, so they don't have to deal with all this traffic. Actually, in the first series of a West Side road trip against the Giants.
Small road trip.
Having a rubber match tonight as we speak against the Giants. Currently 1-1 in that series. Coming off a series win against the Athletics baseball team and a series win against the Detroit Tigers. looking pretty good. Looked pretty good last night, too, in particular, with an 11-3 win. Yelich's bat finally getting some sparks. I don't know if he started using that torpedo bat yet or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe.
So the Brewers, looking very good. Looking back kind of the way we expected them to look as opposed to the way they started. Now that they're kind of getting everything, the pitching is coming together, the hitting is coming back online.
Yes.
So we're looking good there.
And we might have fixed our third base problem, too, so...
Who we got playing there? We did talk about that problem last week, yeah.
We talked about Oliver Dunn and Vinny Capra batting like 151 collectively. And I said, well, maybe Durbin will be coming up. And the next day after we had our podcast, he was brought up, and then he went 2 for 3.
Hey, all right.
Not a bad start. Yeah. So he can play defense really well. He's scrappy. He's really small but fast. But yeah, he looks like he could be the real deal. So yeah, it's nice that they brought him in, and maybe we have an answer.
Right.
So that was a...
Because I think he's listed as second base, but I mean,
yes,
these guys can all play all sorts of positions. He's batting 250, 286 on base plus slugging. Is that what you call it?
Yep, on base percentage plus slugging. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, which isn't obvious. We're not blowing the doors off, but hey, man, considering the way
start somewhere.
Yeah, considering the way third base looked before, this is a real nice patch job they're doing.
Yeah, and he can steal bases too. So, yeah, hopefully he's there for 10 years.
and with Bryce Terang batting 337, you don't have to worry about second base right now, so you can have him there.
No, he's locking in that Silver Slugger and Golden Glove right now, Bryce Terang, with those numbers. Long season, but yeah, keep that up. Whew. That's the star in the making right there. He is this is year 3, and he is taking a step every year, so it's great to see with old Bryce Terang crushing it. But like you said, yeah, the Athletics, or the Detroit series we were talking about last time, they did close that out. Take that, and the Athletics 2 out of 3. That Sunday game was wild on Easter. I don't know if you saw anything, but it was 4-0 in the first inning, and there was 2 hits, a block. It was everything and anything could happen. Went the Brewers' way, and I was like, yeah, all right. And they stole 9 bases in 4 innings, which was a record.
Oh wow!
For the Brewers. Yeah, which is kind of interesting.
Like a baseball record or a Brewers record?
No, a Brewers record.
Yeah, it seemed a little low to be an all-time record, right?
I think 15 is the record.
Oh wow!
In the majors, so but again, they had 9 in the 4th, so people were like, "Well, it actually is kind of close." If it's only the 4th inning and they have 9 already, so. But yeah, so that was a really lopsided win, which is great to have. And then San Francisco's tough, so to go 1-1 right now, and out there out west is great. Quintana is crushing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Quintana 3-0. 9, I think it's a .96 starting ERA, which is the lowest in Brewers history for a starter. Starting, his career, or not his career, but his stint here in Milwaukee. So that's awesome. We've been talking about how long we've been waiting for him to come back because of the starting pitching just being a crapshoot.
Mm-hmm.
So, him coming back, and Woodruff and Appleton last Friday looking really great. So he'll be back very soon as well, which is going to be awesome because that starting pitching staff is going to be a tough one with Quintana, Woodruff, and Peralta. And really, all the other 2 that they've been throwing in, they've all been good. So, yeah, that's what we need. We've been known for that pitching, and it's coming back slowly but surely. So,
yeah, and with the hitting now coming online, I know it's the Athletics, but getting a win like that at this point in the season that's great for especially the way that they started. They need a few of those, I think. Like that 9-1 win they had against the Tigers, that 14-1 win, that 11-3 one against the Giants last night was awesome.
Last night.
Like that's
huge.
Yep. So yeah, they're tied nothing in the fourth right now, but these are the kind of wins you need to see after that start. And now I think it's time when they can finally kind of get that ball rolling for the rest of the season. It's 162 games, man. Like, you got to do this 6 days a week.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, and you got to take little momentum shots. Like, it's like, if you're looking at like a stock in the stock market and you look at if it's really, you look at the daily and it's like up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like, oh, that's really volatile. But you zoom out to a week, it's a straight line,
Yeah.
It's all so. And I think in baseball, it's so important to remember, like, you have to zoom out and look at these things as series, not games sometimes, as like sections, as months instead of series. It's with baseball, because the season's so long, it's so important to zoom out. And when you zoom out, this Brewers team looks really good.
Agree.
Just looking at their they did lose that series against the Diamondbacks, but
back-to-back comebacks by the Diamondbacks, so that was not a great thing.
No, and that's a team you might see in the playoffs too. So
yes, correct. They're always in that running for the playoffs, at least the wild card for sure every year. So yeah, it's been phenomenal to see them come around. Like you said, the hitting has been coming around more and more. So again, just amazing to see that the Brewers can kind of turn around, and then again, when you get healthy, it's going to get better. So and that's going to happen just more and more throughout the year. So
yeah, and looking at the standings in the Central, Brewers a couple games behind the Cubs for first place, but hey, they're the Cubs. They'll be good for a couple months, and then who knows?
Yeah,
they're gonna probably Cubs it all over the place.
Yeah, so tonight, pitching duel, Peralta versus Logan Webb. It's going to be low scoring, I have a feeling, until one of those two get out of there. So, and then we got the day game tomorrow to finish off the series there in San Francisco.
Yeah, and then let's see, 3-game series in St. Louis, 3-game series against Chicago against the Sox.
Side.
Yeah, and then going home for a 3-game series against the Cubs.
Scrubs,
yeah. So that'll be fun. That's the next week or so. Really trying to get this. You really want to get this win here if you're the Brewers against the Giants tonight to secure that 2-2 split in the series.
At least, yeah. Agreed.
And then trying to get that series win against the Cardinals on the way back up through Chicago. The Sox shouldn't be a problem. But
no, they're still bad. So.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing for a while. So we'll watch the Cubs. We'll watch the Brewers. I just keep thinking about.
Used to be on. There used to be someone had their name as somebody's Cubs.
Yeah, it used to be Jason's Cubs. Yeah,
it used to be Jason's Cubs.
Yeah, I thought of that as I was talking. I just those were the days. All right, so if you can find time between all this playoff basketball, there's some Brewers baseball to catch. The end of this Giant series and then the Cardinal series next week. This weekend. So that's baseball. It's such a long season, but it's good to see that the Brewers are kind of turning it back on. So let's just get into the big show, as we used to call it on a former show.
Hey,
since we're making references.
Yeah, why not?
The NFL draft is coming. It's basically here. It starts tomorrow.
They're all here.
Yeah, Thursday the 24th. We're recording on late in the 23rd, so it's here basically.
It's here. Yeah.
And do you watch the draft like beyond like the first round is usually kind of cool to like sit around and watch, but like do you watch like later into the draft?
So this is literally how I usually watch draft. If it's like Thursday night, I sit down at 6 o'clock and I'm like, oh, draft's on. I turn it on. If I'm doing anything else in the world, I'm doing that in the world and not thinking about the draft. So I usually don't watch it. My phone's gonna give me dings on who's picked number one and who the Packers get. Like I'm gonna get that anyways. So I think I told the story. I don't know about if it was last week or earlier in this podcast or maybe the other podcast, but there was that one year where the Packers were the last pick of the draft. I sat there all night till 11 p.m., 5 hours or whatever watching, and they traded it away. So they had no pick. And I'm like, so I watched all this for what? Nothing. Because I don't care who goes. I mean, number one, like it's great. You got congrats. You guys got to go number one, number two. You're phenomenal at your position. But if it's not my team, I don't give a crap. I'm not gonna watch you walk stage. Like it doesn't matter to me. So I don't watch it, especially after that debacle years and years ago. Like I'm not sitting through this to not even see my team draft anybody when they're supposed to. So.
Yeah, and I think when you have a team like the Packers that you root for that consistently drafts late in the first round, you got to sit through like 2 hours of who knows what before maybe like, we traded out of the first round. We didn't really like anybody. Like, as a Dolphins fan, whenever I think of watching the NFL draft, and I have watched it a bunch of times, not to say that this was the last time I ever watched it, but there was a year where I got together with a buddy of mine. We were watching the draft, and the Dolphins were picking like midway through the first round. And I'm like, yeah. And they ended up taking Ted Ginn Jr. as their first pick as their pick in the first round, and I just was like, "Are you
lost?"
Like really, like this?" And it was like in the morning too. Like it was like 11 in the morning when this was. Yeah, it was as I recall. Maybe I'm misremembering that part, but it was just like one of those things. Like I did all this to watch this. Yeah. Oh yeah, this was like 20 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, Ted Ginn Jr.'s rookie year. That's when this was. So that was like the last time I really was like, oh, I'm going to watch the draft. Yeah. I still watch it, at least the first round. But yeah, all the pageantry and all the bringing people up and all the interviews and stuff, like, not to say that these guys shouldn't have their moment. I think that the draft should exist and it's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but it's not a thing I get into. Let them have their moment, but I don't really care.
Spectacle. Like we have Brad Paisley closing it out on Saturday night. Why? Why are we having a concert after 3 days of standing in the rain for some of these people, watching 250 some people walk across the. But not even not even that many. A quarter of them walk across the stage, and then you have that. Oh, what the hell? Like it's more of a, again, say it all the time. It's about money, and that's why we're having this. This stage in Green Bay has been being constructed for like 3 weeks. What stage takes 3 weeks to be put together? Like what is going on? It's nuts. It's too big. Yes, those kids, those guys should have their moments in the spotlight. You earned it, great. But like, do you have to walk 2 miles to the stage?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah, they
like. When I see that, I'm like, they literally showed your whole career highlights before you got to the stage because it takes you 20 minutes to get there. I'm like, I just don't get it. It's like, so I don't mean Green Bay doesn't have as much room as the other places that have had it. So we'll see how long they have to walk tomorrow. But it's just. Just things like that. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, why do you have like private villas for all these players? You know, like I want white leather couches, I want velour. You know, it's just like, oh my god, it's a spectacle. It's more of you know, show me the NFL kind of moment than really focusing on the player. So
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't really think of that. It's like ostensibly it's player first, right? Like they're trying to highlight the new players, the rookies, the and all that with the dressing them sharp and the lights and the walk up
yeah,
and all that. But really, you're right. Like it's not about that at all. If you really look at it, they're just this is the NFL, just like
look at my new
stroking
toy.
itself. Really,
Look at
yeah.
my new toy. This is my
Hmm.
number one toy. This is my number
Hmm.
two toy. You know?
Yeah, and all my old toys are gonna come up and announce my new toys.
Yeah. Or I'm going to trade one of my toys away for this new shiny toy. You know,
Yeah,
like it's nuts.
yeah,
So
yeah. I never
I
really
wish
thought
it was
about it
more.
that way.
I wish it was more about the players, but it's definitely flipped the other way around, unfortunately.
Hmm. That's yeah. But it, I mean, that's what the NFL wouldn't be what it is.
You
Better
wouldn't have
for
Brad Paisley coming to Green Bay to play this, you know, if it wasn't for that. So,
for better or for
you know,
worse. In some ways, like that's it needs to happen to make the NFL what we love about it, but also it's a lot of the things we hate about it too. Like
yeah,
sometimes, like I'm not one of those dudes who's like we should go back to decapitating quarterbacks and stuff like that. But
yeah.
sometimes I watch Earl Campbell just like bowling ball somebody, and I'm like, man, though that was some cool shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
And
was a different
sometimes,
era.
like, I do wish guys still had to have jobs outside of football, and it was just a little more blue collar than it is, just a little more gritty, right? Not to say
Yeah.
I don't like today's game, but there's certain aspects of yesterday's game and even before yesterday's game where I'm like, yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Uh,
they'll miss the old days.
yeah. With the draft being in Green Bay, I think,
Hmm.
and just before we get into like the Packers and stuff like
Yeah.
that, uh, I think I will have a little, and I think this might be true for most people around here. I'll be a little more interested in watching just to see, because I know what that place is. Like, I'll see it
Oh,
on
I
TV,
can
and they'll be
close
like,
my eyes and see it. Hmm.
they'll like be in the atrium. It's like I know that place. I've been there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you can kind of
Yeah.
see what they're gonna do with it, and you can kind of imagine yourself there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Other places never, you know. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's really cool. I never thought of it that way.
yeah. They have it at Music City Hall or music. I don't know what the name of the place is, and
Radio City Music Hall.
yeah, thank you. And I'm like,
Hmm.
cool. I don't know what that place is. Looks neat.
Yep. Awesome. I'll never be there. I'll
So
never
yeah,
go.
hopefully the weather kind of turns up. But maybe whatever. Maybe it should rain. I don't know. Have it indoors. So let's take a look at the Packers, at least the first three rounds, because those are kind of like the ones we can really take a look at. I think it's
Hmm.
when I start hearing prognosticators talk about like fifth and sixth round picks, I'm like, whatever, you guys. Those dudes are so deep down the scouting reports. Like, I don't think the average to above average fan like really can do anything with that information, right? Oh, it's use the second wide receiver at Liberty.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah. You
but
don't know any. They don't know anything by that point.
yeah, exactly.
It's just talking heads by that point.
But I think the first three rounds are where you can look for like impact people, and not just like roster spots.
And more
And
play now too. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like more now ready than
yeah.
yeah.
So looking at I like USA Today. They have this one where it's like a composite of the 30 popular mock drafts, and they kind of combine them into one. And they have the Packers at 23 selecting Jade Barron. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, from Michigan.
Yeah, he played at Texas as well, but he
Oh,
did play
Texas.
at Michigan as well. 5'11", 194, senior cornerback. I like that idea. Personally, let's start here actually. What do you think the Packers' needs are? Because I think most people would say wide receiver, cornerback, and edge rusher, right?
Did you see what I have up?
3.
Three. And you just said them. Yep, that's exactly the ones I was going to say. So you got it. In probably that order too: receiver, cornerback, defensive line, tackle. Somebody you're going to get
Yeah.
on that edge.
And
So yes, those are the three positions I was going to talk about with you. So perfect. We're on the same
excellent.
wavelength, and we didn't even talk about it. So
Yeah, right. Perfect. Okay. So as far as cornerbacks go, we'll start there. I think Jade Barron is a fine guy. I'd like to see them get somebody who's a little bigger. I like big cornerbacks who can hit people. 5'11", 194 is not small. It's like pretty prototypical. Was this the prospect grade on NFL.com has him at 6. He'll become a good starter within 2 years, they project. I'd like to see that a little more better. If you're going to spend your first pick, I don't care if it's 23rd in the first round, he better be more than a good starter in a couple years, right?
yeah, yeah, and I honestly think there's still really good quarterbacks in like the second and third rounds too. So he'd be a good pick, I think overall. But I still think there's some better picks down the road, or not better picks, just as good almost picks down the road too. Like Will Johnson from Michigan or Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky. That could be like round 2, round 3 players. Those could be really good because I feel like there's a lot of more receivers and defensive players in that first round that I'd rather have now than that second or third round pick. So I know like which one was that you were looking at, that simulator? What site was that?
Oh, it's on USA Today.
USA Today. Okay.
It's just like a composite of 30 mock drafts published in the past week. So they just kind of like went online, found 30 mock drafts, probably from like Todd McShay or whatever, and then used AI to simulate them and then made their own result.
Yeah.
Which, it's funny. Packers take Jade Barron. Chargers take Matthew Golden right in front of them. And that makes sense. I think that's a good pick for the Chargers. But would you want Matthew Golden over like a cornerback?
Yes.
He did look good in college.
I would take him over because we need a number one receiver. Will he be a number one down the road? I don't know, but we need a receiver still. So yes, I think he's a better fit because in college he looked really, really good. And again, that's one of our needs. I think it's one of our top needs, like we talked about. So I probably would, if he's there, I'd take him. I honestly would, because I don't think he's gonna get down even to 22, let alone 23. But I hope he is, because that would just be huge to have like him. And then we have Hardman coming in, and then everybody else around that's already there. That's really going to solidify things if we bring him in. But again, he might not be a number one right away, obviously. We're not going to, we're never going to have a number one for a while if we didn't get one in free agency, So, I would take Matthew Golden. What do you think on that? Would you?
No, not as a slight against Matthew Golden, but this actually stems from an earlier problem we discussed where the Packers did not go after a veteran wide receiver or impact veteran wide receiver in free agency when there were like a dozen of them. And yeah, you were going to have to pay, but man, you just lost Christian Watson, who's supposed to be your golden boy, and you just lost him for the year.
I did hear something kind of crazy about that that you just popped back in my brain that I can't remember what source it was. It was reputable. I just can't remember what the name was right now because I've looked at so many things.
Yeah.
But I know it was good. But there's talk about George Pickens
Still?
being on the trade block.
Oh, and like a draft day trade or something.
Yes. Because they think Pittsburgh's not going to pay him the money like they paid Metcalf, because they've never ever in the history of their organization has put that much money into receivers, who are on the field at the same time, and they think it's just history's going to repeat itself. So they think that could be a possibility too. And the Packers and two other teams were the top three teams in that talk trade before the draft. So
okay,
if a Pickens come here and we give up the 23rd pick,
sure, okay,
I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. That would,
That's
honestly,
an impact player.
Yeah, I would take that over Jahdae Barron. No offense, Jahdae Barron. But like you made a good point earlier, I think there's value and talent in the second and third rounds where they can get guys.
I think so.
They're not hurting that bad at secondary. I mean, it's not good. It's bad, but it's not
if Jair is
desperate.
Healthy and starts, I mean, that's really to solidify it. So
he's got
this is more of have a person that's, if he's not there, who's going to be that number 1A or number 1B player? That's the thing. So if Jair's fine this year and healthy, and we don't do anything like trade him at the deadline or something, or during the draft or something like that, because that's always still a possibility. His name's out there all the time. That's going to be a lot. Then you go get your George Pickens or your Matthew Golden, because you don't need that cornerback right away.
Nah, and and you can get a guy later that can make an impact at cornerback. Just because, I'm not even saying wide receiver is a greater need, but I think, how do I want to word this? I think a veteran wide receiver is going to you need that right now for Jordan Love and that offense. You need one. You need one for that whole thing to work. And if you get one of those and you don't get a top flight cornerback for this season, I think you'll still be okay. But if it's the other way around, I think that becomes an issue. Then you end up with a season like last year where you can't beat any good teams.
Yeah. You go 1-5 in your division.
Make all the other guys look good. And you mentioned Will Johnson before. I like that a lot. I know that people are saying he had injury issues or whatever, but before he stayed for his senior year, he was gonna be a top pick. Yeah,
he was really high up there. The fact that he's dropping doesn't mean he's bad. It just helps possibly us. So.
And I think that really everybody's looking at the Niners here because the Niners need a cornerback too. And if they like Jahdae Barron more than Will Johnson, they're going to take him, which might mean Will Johnson comes back to the Packers. So I think a lot of that...
Maybe we trade up to get him too, one of those scenarios.
Sure.
Go get him right away.
Sure. Absolutely. And with the Steelers just 2 spots above the Packers, that makes that Pickens thing you mentioned a lot more interesting because they could work in something there where they trade up.
I think that's why we're in the mix.
Yeah.
Because we're right there. Yeah.
Or maybe the Packers give the Steelers their pick and then they have 2 first-round picks and they can trade up to get somebody, Yeah.
Because, if Jackson Dart or Shadur Sanders is there, they need the quarterback.
Yep.
So if he's falling down to 23... it's
or if they think the Saints might take Shadur Sanders and they really like him,
too.
They might want to get that pick from the Packers for Pickens and then use their 2 late first round picks to get up to 9 with the Saints and take Shooter. I'm just there's ways for this pick. Like when you said that, I was like, that's actually like any other guy I might have been like, I don't really see it. But like that one actually is interesting because I could see the Steelers trying to make some moves like that. And they're a team that will do it, unlike the Packers who just don't do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Correct.
So I think we're in agreement. They need to take probably either Jahdae Barron or Will Johnson in that first round, whoever's available. And honestly, if they're not available, you could maybe just try it out.
DL.
Yeah.
I like if Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, or like Mikael Williams, like from Georgia.
Oh, sure. If he drops or something,
I would take any of those, like, because again, we need corners obviously, so that so that our edge guys can get to the quarterback, vice versa. But lately, it's been our corners are getting burned because no one can get to the quarterback. So yeah, we have to have someone start rushing the quarterback. So Walter Nolan's been really, really good all year. And again, he's interior. We need someone interior. And Mikael Williams, Georgia is always just cranking out defensive players like it's going out of style. I mean, we have a couple already, so it wouldn't be weird to get another one. But he's really good at stopping the run and the pass. So, again, if those guys are there, that's what I'd go with too. Before, like, let's say, a corner or something like that. But again, it's like you said, people have these mock drafts for the first, second, third rounds, but the first round can be at the first 10 picks could throw off everybody. You know what I mean? Like it's like you could do a Michael Penix Jr. like last year, or like a Carson, not Carson Palmer. Damn, who is that Florida State? Samantha. Oh, Christian Ponder.
Christian Ponder.
One of those, one of those where just everything the whole draft gets blown up. It's like, wait, what just happened? So. You never know. Like the New York Giants I've been reading are still like bringing in people like today they were for like workouts and stuff. And I'm like, it's too late, man. Like you got to decide who the hell you want. You can't be bringing people in. So yeah, those top teams are up there for a reason. They're not good at winning and probably not good at managing their teams. So we'll see what happens if it gets crazy. Like the Browns, are they going to take Hunter too? They might go crazy weird, do something, Brownsy.
Yeah.
That's even a word. And you're like, yep, that doesn't make sense. And then, yeah. That's the nice thing about draft. It is crazy. The chaos is kind of fun, but.
Yeah, Browns take Ashton Genty or something.
Yeah, they're like, screw, we're going to take a running back. We're going to have Nick Chubb and Genty.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. So, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. And I just wish it didn't take so long. Do the teams really need 15 minutes between picks? Sorry.
No, probably not.
Anyway, let's take a look at the second round a little bit. Unless you want to go over like a first round edge rusher you like besides Michael Williams.
No, I mean, there's other ones out there.
I just didn't think the draft, like, for late in this first round, I think you can wait for an edge rusher. Unless you're getting, like, an Abdul Carter. There's only a couple of guys up there at the top. And I think if you're in the late first round, you might as well just wait to get an edge rusher this year anyway.
True.
It's not a deep edge rusher draft, as they say. In the second round, though... still need a wide receiver. And I think that's a greater need than edge rusher. So I see a guy like Jaden Higgins from Ohio State or Iowa State, and he's got the build. He's big, he's lean, he's long. I haven't seen his numbers. Like, I assume he's a little fast at least. I don't know if he's a burner necessarily, but man, a big, lean, long dude like that going up for balls, That sounds like exactly what the Packers need right now.
Yeah. And that's actually exactly who I was going to say for the second round pick for the receivers, Jayden Higgins. I'm
Nuh-uh.
looking at him right now, like on my screen, like literally, like I was about to say, "Oh, I'll bring up Jayden Higgins. He's probably the one I would have picked." And then you started saying it. I'm like, "All right, yep, same page again." Yep, lost to Christian Watson. Watson, he fills right in there. So, and then when Watson comes back, you have two of those guys on the outside. That inside's going to open up quickly. You know what I mean? Holy cow. So, yeah. Jayden Higgins, second round pick at 54 out of Iowa State would be awesome. Awesome for the Packers.
Yeah, and just oh man, assuming you can pick up the playbook and everything, and that can get the route running down. Yeah, he could just fit right in. He's just physically like that guy you need for the gap that the Packers currently have in their wide receiver core. So if you could plug in a guy like that, oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
Yes, for sure.
There is talk that he might not be there. This is according to Sports Illustrated here. He may not be there. So let's say Jayden Higgins gets picked. I mean, let's see. Are there any other wide receivers that, like, see, the thing with the Packers, they're kind of predictable with their drafts because they have very specific criteria for certain positions. And I think that that's a benefit to them, and it's been proven to be successful for obvious reasons. They haven't had a top 10 draft pick in like 30 years or something like that because they're a successful franchise. But I think that helps them when they look for guys like quarterbacks and, taking running backs in the third round and like certain spots that really benefits them, these precise criteria they use. But in other spots, like, I think it's reliably unsuccessful or has a lower ceiling of success when it comes to, like, say, top flight, high pick wide receivers. When they do that, when they do pull the trigger like that, it's underwhelming because I think their method just isn't perfect. And I wonder if that's just, them taking the good with the bad. Like, well, we're not good at taking wide receivers early. So that's just part of also, that's just part of the thing. And that same, thing is the reason we're good at taking quarterbacks early and so on and so forth. And I wonder if that's just something they're kind of just accept, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that makes sense to me. It's how it works, so for them.
All right. So, let's see. Let's take a second round wide receivers.
Oh, I had a couple already.
Did you?
Torrey Horton. He was like Colorado State wide receiver. He was really good last year. He's sort of a third round pick probably. But again, who knows? They might pull him up in the second if there's nothing they see in the second round that DL or cornerback position. So, I also saw, again, it'd be great to get him, but I think it's more of a probably not because he's gonna go earlier. What's his name? Wait, I had him up here. I'm sorry. Here he is. Luther Burden III. He's from
Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah, sorry, Missouri. Wide receiver, junior. He's pretty good too. Again, he's probably gonna go like early second round, but again, you never know if something gets shaken up at the beginning of the draft. Some of these wide receivers might fall out through the cracks because again, right, people are gonna want running backs a lot this year. I feel like, which we don't need, because that position, got more popular and more money towards it again. Not like previous years. So he'd be great to have. But again, I feel like he might go earlier than 54, unfortunately. Was there anybody you saw
Well, I'm
or
looking at
looked up?
this guy Trey Harris from
Oh
Ole
yeah, Trey Harris,
Miss. He's got
Ole
that
Miss.
size, and he's still fast. He's 6'3", 210, so not quite like not quite as big as a 6'4", 215 Jaden Higgins, but like up there. It's still a big dude. Still runs a
Yeah.
4.54. He's like a slightly smaller, slightly slower Jaden Higgins, right? According to the
Sure.
statistics.
Yeah.
And he's projected around the same area of the draft. I think you could take a guy like that and you'd be all right. You know, either one of those dudes,
Yeah.
really, because like that's just. I think with the Packers' unique situation with wide receiver, because they have a good wide receiver room, but they have a glaring hole. And so if you can
Mhm.
just get a big, tall, fast guy in there, maybe Trey Harris isn't a great route runner, but let's see, he's a boundary receiver with true X potential who can step into an NFL offense and win immediately on third down. Oh man, that sounds like exactly what they need. So either one of those
Yes.
dudes, excuse me, either one of those dudes works out. And even later, a little later, is how late is that? 64. So a little later, you could reach if there's a run on wide receivers in the second round, you could reach for a guy like Jack Beck from TCU, 6'2",
hmm
215 with 4.5 speed. That's still gonna. He can step in and contribute day one from right in the right system. He's got experience. He's a senior.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't have to be like the ultimate solution here. It can just be a guy you can plug in. So that's how I feel about wide receiver for the Packers. Um, and then we can get into defensive line, I think. And this guy here, third round is where I start to get a little, stretch a little bit here. But like a guy like Jordan Birch comes up a lot. I heard his name
Yep.
on the radio a few times. What can you tell me
Yep.
about Jordan Birch?
Jordan Birch. Well, let
Or,
me
or
put him up
was
here.
he on your list?
He was on my list. Yes, he was my. It went. Yeah, because it was. Yes, let me find him up. Yeah, where'd my list go? I'm sorry, I had it up, and then I think I clicked too many other buttons here. Here we go.
Oh, it looks like the Packers did bring him in for a visit too. So
Oh, they
they've
did.
shown
Nice.
interest in him already.
Yeah, Jordan Birch. Yes. Here he is. Yeah, because he's not going to be going higher than other rounds. Like he's good. He's just not
Yeah,
freakishly good
he's
like that,
third.
which
He's
is
third round
fine.
talent. That's where you
Yeah.
start to see
hmm
in the third round these guys who are good college players, but it's like it's not like he's going to go up there and be dominant, necessarily, unless something changes, right? You see,
True.
obviously,
True.
people dominate the NFL from any round. It's just things
Yeah.
change, right?
Yeah. 6'4" senior from Oregon. 279. He weighs so
Yeah,
big
big
guy.
dude, big
4'6",
dude.
4'6", 40 though. That ain't too bad for a big guy.
Right? No, that's the
Um.
thing. Like that's good speed down that edge like that.
Yeah. So played. Looks like he played in South Carolina for most of his college career, but yeah, did Oregon this last year, so came to the Big Ten or the Big 50, and yeah, I mean he'd be a good fit too. I think he would. I think he'd complement Rashad Gary on the other side as a rusher, or maybe even Lucas Van Ness. If they're still going to bring him in on first and second down. So yeah, I think he'd be a great player to bring in because we need that edge rusher. And like you said, if it's not a big edge rushing draft, you might as well wait to hit him in the third round. So if he's there, pick him up.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, I think with this not being an incredibly deep draft for edge rusher, I think you can wait till the third round and get somebody. Given the Packers situation, like they just need a guy. Like it's not like the wide receivers where they need a specific type of guy and anyone will do of that mold. Like they just need a guy who can rush from the edge because like apparently they don't have any. Like
None.
It didn't look like they had any last year, to be honest. No offense to anybody, but it really looked like they had like they took all the defensive tackles they had and just threw them on the edge. Like, oh, you're a defensive lineman, right?
Try this. What do you mean it doesn't work? Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Big board around 70, right? That's third, or well, it'll be around 80. Let's see. Kyle Kennard. Ooh, a Josiah Stewart from Michigan. That sounds kind of interesting. Juiced up pass rusher with less than ideal measurables. Ooh, okay. His effort and leverage give him a chance to win, but he lacks pass rush nuance. Well, I mean, you like effort, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. Like, see, again, like this third round stuff, like this is like I've watched.
It's already going downhill of like.
Yeah, like I might have heard a couple of these dudes ranked up, in the 80s and 90s on these mock drafts, but I'm not watching tape. I got a job, yo. Right? Yeah. Like I'm not sitting here trying to I try to absorb as much as I can when I can, but that usually goes through the first two rounds, and third round I'm like, So I don't even think there's any notable Badgers in the draft this year.
I don't know that I'm aware of, honestly. I didn't even look who's actually coming out. I feel like everyone's just transferring again.
Right? Oh, there's 3, according to NFLDraftBuzz.com. There are a handful. No, 3. There's literally 3 NFL draft player rankings for the Badgers.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Nelson, the tackle.
Hunter Wohler.
And Joe Huber, guard. I mean, we're talking 5th, 6th round for some of these 7th round draft picks, but not like last year where you had Tanner Mordecai, who I know he's not good, but he could have been drafted, right? And Braylon Allen, who was gonna get drafted, or even
he's a Jet, so
or even a couple years ago where he had 3 guys getting drafted. You got a guy, Jack Nelson, probably getting drafted, and the other 2 might get drafted.
Yeah, Hunter Wohler is really good. I mean, college-wise, so...
Yeah, and I mean, he's got for a safety, 6'2", 218, that's shit, That's pretty much ideal. Perfect, yep. 4.5, we'd like to see a little faster, but if he can still put the wood to people, it shouldn't matter too much.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean... To go farther than 3 rounds, I think, is doing
tough.
us
and
the people a disservice.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're real... I mean, there's people who...
You can look online for that stuff. It's out of control.
Yeah, once you get third round and past, that's where people get paid to watch college football tape and have expertise. And all that crap. Yep. Which I don't have.
Pass.
Yeah, no. You'd have to pay me a lot to do that. Which, if you're interested, you can just go to broforever.com and send me a check for all the money, and I'll watch all the college football you want.
Same.
All right, so that's the Brewers, that's the Bucks, that's the NFL draft. Went a little long on our special draft coverage, but that's what the draft does. It's an event. So watch it.
And a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yes. Yeah. So make sure you watch it, especially if you've been to Lambeau. It's probably going to be kind of surreal to see it happening inside Lambeau like that. And then, you can wait 2 hours to see the Packers trade out. Who knows?
We'll see.
Or they trade up
Trade
for
up for
Will.
number 1 overall for Abdul Carter.
Oh man, that'd be something.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
something.
It'd be great because I'd be like, yes, we got him, and then I could just turn off the draft because I don't need to watch the rest of the first round.
Yep, cool. Get on with the rest of your day.
And probably the rest of the draft because we'd probably have to trade everything away to get that pick. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the Bears don't take to. Yeah, it's not even like anything interesting is going to happen within the division. So that's the draft. That's sports. Yep. That's sports in Wisconsin. And so if you're up in the Green Bay, Fox Cities area, just stay home for a couple of days if you can. Other than
Do
that,
your shopping right away. Get all your food, all your drinks, everything you need, and just
hope you've done that already. Yeah. In the meantime, watch that playoff basketball. Catch the Brewers in between. Watch that draft.
Yeah.
Take hopefully the Niners pass on Will Johnson, and the Packers can pick him up. Otherwise, Jahdae Barron is also good. We'll take him as well.
Also, check out the Admirals in the playoffs, trying to get that Calder Cup. That's going on right now too. So
yes, get that hockey. The hockey,
the professional hockey team in our state.
So let's see, what else is there? Facebook. Go to Facebook. Say hi to us. Go to Bluesky. Let us know what you think. We post to it every time a new episode goes up. So get there for your updates. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify.
Follow us.
Apple Podcasts. Like and subscribe.
Follow us everywhere.
Yes. Follow us everywhere. Let us know what you're feeling. Email us, ssb@broforever.com. Get your t-shirts.
Yeah.
Some new shirts with cats on them just went up on the broforever.com shop. So get those.
Yeah.
Just renewed all the Sconny Scoreboard stuff. So that's good to go.
Fresh and ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
So watch the sports. Drive safe. Stay cozy. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a great one, guys. Watch that draft or don't. See ya.